wanted to shut us up, so they would bring the police into it. And so when we would be demonstrating or just in front of those officers over a loudspeaker, exposing them, they would send the cops in, and we started getting arrested. And it just kept leading up, building up, building up, building up to the point where if they found out the women were pregnant, they were deliberately making them have miscarriages. My sister Rhonda, Africa, she was 8 months pregnant, and the police had her up in the sheriff holding cell in City Hall, and they were slamming her belly first into these big wooden tables that's nailed to the floor. And they were slamming her belly first in that, just fighting and beating on her. And when she got home, she had the baby. And when she had the baby came out with bruises all over him, and he didn't make it. You know, that was the beginning of it. They put Janet into miscarriage. Lee Sing, my sister Alberta, when they found out she was pregnant, they held her spread eagle down at the police precinct while a female officer kicked her repeatedly in her vagina till she miscarried. March 28th, 1976, our family was coming home from prison in front of our house, and we were all out there greeting them. It was like 3 a.m, somewhere around there. And the cops pulled up, no lights, quiet, just pulled up and came out and said, we had a call about a fight out here. And my brother Chucky, Africa, was saying no, it's just us here. Move people, we're greeting our family home from prison. They just got out. And the cop wouldn't leave. He said, well, I had a call, there's disturbance. He said, it's just move people here. Our family just got out of prison, and we're just, we're excited, we're greeting them. And he still wouldn't leave. He said, well, I got to report that there's a fight out here. So finally, Chucky raised his voice. He said, there is nobody out here but move people, and we're not fighting or anything. And the minute Chucky said that, them cops came out from all the cars swinging black jacks and nightsticks. And I was standing in front of my husband, and they took me, and I was holding my 3-week-old baby, Life Africa. They threw me on the ground and stomped over me to get to my husband. And when I was able to sit up, I looked up at the baby. His head was crushed. And I just panicked, and I ran in the house, and they found me. I can't even really remember how I got in the house for real. But they came down and found me in the basement, and I was just sitting there holding the baby. And they tried to get the baby from me because it was obvious that he was dead. And, they tried to deny that it was a baby, but the neighbors came out and they said, no, she had a baby. And they were saying, well, he must have been sick or something. They said, no, he was just out here the day before. We was talking to her, touching him. Nothing wrong with that baby. So through all of this beating, they arrested some of the MOVE men that they had beaten, broken their arms and stuff. And they went in front of the judge, Myrna Marshall. And while they was in front of her, they was telling them about the fight and how the baby was murdered. So she said, well, produce the body of the baby. And, they was like, no, we're not giving you the baby's body because you already tried to lie and say there was no baby, or tried to say he died from some kind of sickness or something. We know what would happen if we turned the baby's body over to you. So what they did was they sent me away from headquarters for the day, and they had clergymen, state representatives, news media, officials come in the house and view the body of the baby, took pictures and everything. And then when they went back for the next court case, they presented the pictures to Myrna Marshall. And she said, well, pictures is not enough evidence for me to press charges. So what she did was, instead of pressing charges on the cops, she just dismissed all the charges against MOVE people. Now, this is the same judge that after we was attacked August 8th, 1978, and on trial for murder, they destroyed the house. They tore the house down. They tore up everything in the house. And what they did was they presented pictures of the house and said, this is the evidence to prove that they killed this cop. This same judge that said the pictures of my baby was not enough for her to take action said that the city preserved evidence by taking pictures, and those pictures was enough to hold us over for murder. Yep. Because based on their legality, once they tore that house down, they wasn't supposed to be able to hold us for trial. That's why all the lawyers they assigned to our case were saying, oh, y'all not going to trial. Y'all going home because they destroyed the whole crime scene. And she said, these pictures is enough, and held us over for trial, and the cop Ramp, first of all, we found out he was on desk duty because he was involved in something, investigation. Either he was going to tell on some dirty cops or he was a dirty cop because he was on desk duty. They found out that morning of August 8th, they pulled him off his desk duty and said, come on, you're going out to the move compound. We're getting ready to attack. And he was so ready to kill somebody. He didn't even think about, well, wait a minute, why I'm on desk duty. Why are you taking me out there now? And he was facing us, standing above ground. We were in the basement. He was shot in the back of the head and the bullet traveled downward. So, even if we had been shooting, we couldn't have shot him. And that's why they knew something was wrong. They tried to change the autopsy reports and everything in the courtroom. So they're calling it friendly fire. But from the looks of it, they sent him out there to get rid of him, But that's how we got sentenced to 30 to 100 years for a crime they know we didn't commit. And while we were in prison, like as if that wasn't bad enough, they dropped a bomb on our family, May 13th, 1985. And we didn't know it because we were, put in restrictive housing unit. It's everybody in prison call it the hold. We were like almost a mile away from the campus. You don't get phone calls. You don't have TV. You don't have radio. So we were up there. We didn't know anything. Lieutenant came to our cells. And we could hear them down the line. They opened Sue Africa's cell. She's our white move member. And they opened it and said, Sue, your son is dead. And shut the door back on her. Came down to the next cell, told me, your son is dead. Shut the door. Went down to each one, Janet and Consuela. And that's how we found out. Well, we still didn't know because nobody told us anything. They just said, your children are dead.